Welcome back to Soultime Radio, where we often talk about the journeys and stories that life brings us. I'm Daniel, and today we're going to sit down together like close friends to talk about something that I'm sure all of us have experienced, are experiencing, or will experience: the crossroads of life. Do you agree with me that our lives are like a long-flowing river, with countless twists and turns, rushing rapids, and sometimes splitting into many smaller branches? Each time the river of our lives stands before a choice, a decision to be made, that's when we are at a crossroads. I still remember back then, when I stood at the threshold of university, how much I wondered. Should I choose a major based on passion, even though I knew job opportunities weren't plentiful, or choose a hot major to easily find a job after graduation? That was a crossroads. Or sometimes it's simply when you realize your current job is no longer suitable, and a question begins to stir in your mind. Should I look for a new direction? Or in relationships, after so many years together, you suddenly ask yourself, is this my final destination? Or is it time for me to bravely step out and find another happiness? It's not just about big decisions like career or love. Crossroads also appear in seemingly smaller things. It could be when you have to choose whether to move to a new city to seek opportunities, even if it means leaving familiar relationships behind. Or when you decide to learn a new skill, even though you're older, instead of settling for what you have. Sometimes it's even just considering whether to voice your true thoughts in a meeting or stay silent to avoid trouble. These crossroads don't always have clear signs. Sometimes it's just a gentle echo in your soul, a feeling of unease, or an unexpected opportunity knocking. It could be a glance, a fleeting remark from someone, or simply waking up one morning and suddenly feeling restless with the present reality. How do we usually feel when facing these crossroads? I believe many of us, like me back then, will feel a bit confused, a bit disoriented, and even a vague fear. Afraid of not knowing if the path we choose is right, afraid of regretting it, afraid of failing. This fear is a natural emotion, like the brain's defense mechanism, wanting to protect us from uncertainties. Fear sometimes leads us into analysis paralysis, meaning we keep analyzing, keep thinking, but don't dare to take any action. It's this fear that sometimes makes us stand still at the crossroads, not daring to move forward, just staying put. And unfortunately, staying put can sometimes be more dangerous than trying and failing. I remember a very good saying: you couldn't find a new path if you not willing to leave the old one. This is very true. Often, staying put out of fear is the riskiest path because it deprives us of the opportunity to explore, to grow, and to touch new things that perhaps we've never imagined. Life is a flowing river. We stand still, that flow will carry us away, or worse, turn us into a stagnant puddle. So how can we be more confident when facing these important choices? I'd like to share a few things that I personally have learned, and I hope they will be helpful to you. First, take a moment to listen to yourself. Amidst so much advice, so much information from outside, so much noise from modern life, it's easy to forget to ask our hearts, what do I really want? What is most important to me right now? This listening isn't always easy. It requires stillness. You can spend 10 to 15 minutes each day meditating, journaling, or simply taking a walk alone in the park. Ask yourself about your core values, the things that truly make you happy and meaningful. The inner voice is often not loud. It's just a feeling, a gentle intuition from deep within. When you understand yourself, making decisions will become much easier and more accurate. Next, don't be afraid to gather information. Thoroughly research each option. You can talk to people who have been down that path, learn about the pros and cons of each turn, visualize as clearly as possible what life will be like after each turn. If it's a job change, research the new company's culture, job requirements. If it's a financial decision, carefully research investments and associated risks. Knowledge is power that helps you feel more confident. It helps reduce anxiety about the unknown. Instead of fearing vague things, you'll face specific problems and can prepare countermeasures. Remember, gathering information isn't about seeking absolute perfection, but about getting the most comprehensive view possible. And then learn to accept that life always has risks. No path is perfect. No decision guarantees 100% success. The important thing is to understand that even when we stumble, it's a valuable lesson that helps us get up and stand firmer. Failure is not the end, but a comma in the journey of growth. Accepting risk doesn't mean being reckless. It means you've weighed things, prepared, and understand that some things are beyond your control. Sometimes what we regret most isn't what we did, but what we didn't dare to do out of fear. Remember, the false security of inaction can rob you of golden opportunities in your life. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, trust yourself. You have enough ability, enough wisdom to make decisions for your own life. Look back at the times you've overcome difficulties, the times you've made good decisions. Those experiences are the strongest foundation for your self-belief. No matter where the path you choose leads, it will be a part of your life story, a unique and meaningful story. Even if things don't go according to plan, you can still learn, adapt, and find a new direction. Your inner strength is much greater than you think. The crossroads of life are not challenges to make things difficult for us, but opportunities for us to discover ourselves, to grow, and to write our own stories. Every choice, every step, no matter how small, is an important part of that journey. Before we conclude, I have a small suggestion for you. This week, try to take some time to identify a small crossroads you're facing in your life. It could be a decision about studies, work, or a relationship. Then, try to apply one of the 4 pieces of advice we've discussed today. Perhaps listening to yourself by journaling or gathering new information about your options. You'll be surprised by what you discover. Remember, the most important thing isn't which path you choose, but how you walk on that path. Walk with a brave heart, with an unceasing spirit of learning, and with belief in yourself. Thank you for sharing these thoughts with me on Soultime Radio today. I hope these small shares bring you a little more peace, a little more confidence when you stand at your own crossroads. See you in the next episode with new stories and perspectives. Have a peaceful day.